This is Camnet Main News. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Thank you so much for joining us. The stories making headlines. Stakeholders condemn the brutal arrest of Dr. KAMBWILI'S family. An 81-year-old man of Lusaka seeks government intervention for survival. And Bishop Eddie CHOMBA vindicated over ALICK flyover bridge. In international news, rights group in DRC says militia is working with the army to perpetuate violence. In sports news, charity shields set for Arthur Davies Stadium this Saturday. Join me shortly for the details.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444-726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you so much for joining us once again. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The details. Despite government's efforts to end poverty among its citizens through various empowerment programs, more citizens continue to live below the poverty line. This is the case of an 81-year-old man of LUSAKA'S Kabanana compound, fondly known as Kwamaichola. Bernard Kangwa has told Camnet TV that he is unable to provide for his family after he suffered a stroke which paralyzed his legs, making him immobile. This has prompted Kangwa's neighbors to call on well-wishers to assist the family with financial support and food, as none of his children, and the family claims to have visited them. Miriam Kayemba reports on this story.
He only hopes for a bright future for his family. Unfortunately, this 81-year-old man of LUSAKA'S Kabanana compound is unable to do so due to his illness and can no longer walk properly, as his legs have seen 81 years of hard work. Mr. Bernard Kangwa of Kwamaichola in Kabanana compound has been living in misery with his family after half of his family got sick in unclear circumstance. Despite his old age, Kangwa insists that if government is to help them with financial assistance, he will be able to work and provide for his family.
The only help I want is to have me treated. If I'm treated, I'm able to work. I can do any type of work. All I want is treatment. Up-to-date treatment. If I'm treated, if I get better, I can survive on my own.
Mr. Kanga, who was once diagnosed with stroke, says his body is weak and is uncertain of what he and his family members are suffering from, as they do not have the financial capacity to seek medical service.
For me to have up-to-date treatment, if I'm treated, because the disease I have is disturbing my body.
His wife, Margaret Kangwa, when tried to speak to, could not say anything apart from her name. Mr. Kangwa disclosed that his wife, daughter, are also sick, while one of his sons is mentally ill.
And since then, I started seeing things which were not straight here. My wife got sick. My daughter was just okay, also got sick. And we have the other boy is mentally sick. This morning his uncle took him to China hospital.
He disclosed that he has 10 children altogether. However, they do not render any support. Meanwhile, concerned residents have appealed to any well-wisher for financial assistance.
We have seen him deteriorating from where he used to be to the level that he has reached. If you came today, the time we're coming in, it was these two ladies who came to birth the woman hapa. Chakudya nichovuta. Chikaridwe ni general nichovutira hapa. Pa age afika basanga 7 kuri konse manje ni bakulu. Afu nikopeza chintu chakuti muna ngati mugapezeke muntu wakutanga titandize. Kutandiza kwa aba nichathandiza tonse fe am community muno. Because we're having these problems yakuti wina wacho wapeza ko lokathuko acha fando ponyako watu waponyerako chamene chankara chakudya.
Pamene bali na bana 10 stibaona bonse bana 10. So inchifukwa chake tagwapo ife bakubaidima nchipwaru na komiti kuti iyangane pali aba bantu bapeze chakudya chikuru tandizo ni chakudya.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
The Movement for Democratic Change Media Director Thabo Kawana is gratified at President Edgar Lungu's call on his members that they should allow everyone to campaign freely for any political seat without any interference. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Kawana explains that the head of state has shown true statesmanship, urging him to extend the call to allow presidential figures campaign freely without any interference. Mr. Kawana is, however, disappointed that the president and his Secretary General Davies are speaking different languages on this matter. Details in this report. Monday, 19th October 2020, President Lungu, while in Chilubi district, where he went to drum support for the Patriotic Front candidate for the forthcoming Chilubi Council by-elections, clearly told party officials to allow aspiring candidates, specifically members of parliament, campaign freely, adding that competition is good for democracy. This is a rare statement from the head of state, who expressed confidence of returning his seat as president next year. Let's get refreshed of his statement.
Political party,
Responding to this, the Movement for Democratic Change MDC, through their media director Thabo Kawana, has welcomed the statement, calling him to extend the score to the opposition political party presidents, especially as the country's political landscape gets heated.
I think we feel grateful that the President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Lungu, has espoused elements of being a Democrat. We are happy with his statement that he is not bothered by the formation of the MDC, even though he singled out President Mutati. I don't know why. If all other political parties that were formed, he never mentioned, but when MDC comes on the scene, he mentions, but we are grateful that he has mentioned. We are also very grateful that he mentions that those parliamentarians who have got people campaigning in their constituencies, despite them being incumbents, must give chance to the people that are campaigning in there and not be crybabies. And we think that what the president has said is that of the voice of a Democrat, and he must escalate it to the level of presidency. He must allow other leaders also that want to go to State House to also campaign for State House. He must be able to freely allow the opposition, whether it's President Hakainde, whether it's President Mutati. He must also not be bothered. And he says that he is not bothered because he has worked. So if he has worked, let him allow everyone else to campaign like he has allowed people to go in the constituencies to campaign. Let him allow opposition political parties to campaign for State House.
But in all this, Mr. Kawana has expressed concern over the inconsistencies being portrayed by the two top Patriotic Front leaders over the campaign issue. While the party CEO, Mr. Davies is totally against campaigns, President Lungu has given a go-ahead.
We are also worried with the inconsistencies that are coming from the ruling Patriotic Front. Because, for example, when we watched Sunday interview, the Secretary General of the party was very categorical in that it was a central committee decision that nobody campaigns in any constituency until after dissolution of parliament in May next year. And the president was very categorical that people can start campaigning now. So we are left to wonder, who chaired that particular central committee that made that particular decision? Because clearly the president must not have chaired it. Because if he had chaired it, he wouldn't have said what he said yesterday. But this is a democracy, and we are happy with the sentiments coming from President Lungu. For us, Zambians must be wary that that's why the country is in a mess, because you have got a party in government that is extremely inconsistent, whether it's on mining, whether it's agriculture, whether it's austerity measures that they themselves announce. They're extremely non-committal and inconsistent. So for us, it's not a surprise that there is this inconsistency between the party president and the party CEO talking about the same matter.
The political landscape is getting heated by the day. We wait to see as the country officially touches down to 2021 August. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka. Moving on in the news that has characterized social media and almost all national media platforms, the National Democratic Congress leader CHOMBA KAMBWILI'S wife, Carol, and his daughter, Chanda KAMBWILI, have been arrested and charged with assault and breach of peace after the duo got into an altercation with the police officers. This happened after police officers of the Magistrate Court denied them entry to the court premises where Dr. KAMBWILI went for his bail hearing application. The police brutally manhandled the duo and left KAMBWILI'S daughter almost naked. Meanwhile, Lusaka Principal Resident Magistrate Davies Musamba has adjourned a ruling on whether National Democratic Congress Party President CHOMBA KAMBWILI'S bail application is competent before him to Thursday at 10 hours. This is in a matter where NDC leader was last week sentenced to 1-year jail sentence after a court found him guilty of the offense of forgery and uttering false documents and acquitted him on the offense of giving false information to a public officer. Miriam Kaimba was there and brought us this report.
The LUSAKA'S Magistrate Court was characterized with drama this morning when the wife and daughter to incarcerated National Democratic Congress leader CHOMBA KAMBWILI got arrested by the police following a fracas with the police. The tension erupted after the police prevented some family members of KAMBWILI from entering the court premises to witness his bail application hearing. This incident provoked KAMBWILI'S daughter to slap one police officer, a development that annoyed the men and women in uniform who later physically and abusively manhandled the two women into a police vehicle. One of the officers tried to stop this reporter from executing her duties by confiscating a camera.
Boss, this is company property, boss. Okay, but this is company property, boss. Let it. Eh? I'm registered under media house.
Excuse me, sir. May I have my camera? Sir, I'm a journalist. May I have my camera? Thank you. I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist. Earlier, Magistrate David Simusamba adjourned the ruling on whether the bail application is competent before him to the 22nd of October 2020. Last week, Kambuli was slapped with a 1-year jail sentence after the court found him guilty of the offense of forgery and altering false document, but acquitted him in a charge of giving false information to a public officer. The NDC leader was not before court, only his lawyers appeared. The United Party for National Development leader, Hakainde Hichilema, came to offer his solidarity to the NDC leader.
This is lawlessness in itself, to manhandle Mrs. Kambwili and the daughter, I guess. No respect for human rights, because it's the right for us to be here. It's her right to be here. This is unacceptable. She must be released forthwith. The police should be ashamed of taking her into cells. Remember, imagine the trauma that she's going through. The husband is already in prison.
Meanwhile, after the court session, another fracas rose at Kawata police station after officers manhunted Lusaka Provincial UPND chair lady for mobilization, Patricia Stumbeko, and NDC Copperbelt Vice Youth chairperson Frank Chiona, who are demanding that Kambwili's wife and daughter be released.
What have I done? 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 What have I done?
By broadcast time, Kambwili's wife had been charged with conduct likely to breach the peace while his daughter Chanda with assault. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Was that story there? Camnet TV will continue tracking this story and see where it leads. Moving on in the news, the National Democratic Congress NDC in Livingstone has condemned the brutal arrest of opposition leader Chimba Kambwili's wife and the daughter at the Lusaka Magistrates Court on Tuesday. NDC member of the Central Committee, Paul Sensele, says the police should be the last resort for harassing citizens who are supposed to be protected by them at all times, considering that the victims are women. Mr. Sensele has since called on women organization to condemn what the behavior has been shown by the police, saying it does not inspire confidence in the democratic state.
What happened at the Magistrates Court is very, very disappointing, that the police conducted themselves in that manner, even when they are working under instruction. I think it's not right to undress a woman, a mother, somebody's wife in that manner and fashion. So we are therefore urging the NGOs, the women flock, to condemn that happenings in the strongest term, including by Nongewina. People have been boasting to say we have employed the women in our authority, but they have failed to respect somebody's wife, a president of a political party for that matter. And this lady, she's based in the UK, and everyone have seen what is happening. What picture are they sending to our donors? They are showing simply to say Zambia is under dictatorship. Actually, Zambia of today is as good as Malawi under Kamuzu Banda. And I want just to urge the police that, police, we are fighting for you this battle. We interact with you. You tell us the challenges you are facing. Everyone who just wants to be aid, Jerry. Even when I'm speaking here, it's Jerry. For what? At times, just listen from the voice of a concerned Zambian. Zambian is for who? Zambian does not belong for Easterners. Zambia does not belong for Southerners. Zambia does not belong for Northerners. Zambia does not belong for people from Wapura. Zambia is for everybody. So I urge my humble president, as known by the Zambian, that please be on board, ensure the safety of one family of the KAMBWILI'S. And for the KAMBWILI'S, we are in player. We are in early times. We would have been with you in Lusaka, but due to some challenges. But we'll be talking on your behalf.
The Human Rights Commission has also bemoaned what they term as brutality and barbaric acts exhibited by the police at the Lusaka Magistrate Court this morning towards the wife and daughter of National Democratic Congress Party leader CHOMBA KAMBWILI. Human Rights Commission spokesperson Mwelwa Mulea says the act is cruel, inhumane and degrading treatment which is prohibited in Article 15 of the Constitution of Zambia, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia and under an international human rights law. Mr. Mulea adds that Carol KAMBWILI was violated by the state, and not only that, but the police action was unlawful and a violation of human rights.
It's the position of the Human Rights Commission based on international human rights law that the wife to National Democratic Congress President Dr. CHOMBA KAMBWILI has been treated in a cruel, humane and degrading manner. That action is absolutely prohibited under international human rights law as well as under Article 15 of the Constitution of Zambia, which is Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia, that ill treatment is absolutely prohibited, regardless of the offense one is alleged to have committed. So our concern is not about whether she committed an offense or not, it's on the principle of international human rights law to which Zambia is part to. Zambia ratified the UN Convention against torture, cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Therefore, they have an obligation to respect the rights of suspects. It's such actions of police that degenerate into gross violation of human rights. Some people have suffered permanent disabilities, others have lost lives as a result of such actions. So there's need to end that kind of impunity by punishing perpetrators and ensuring that the victims receive protection from such actions. Therefore, we are not oblivious to the fact that the police have a constitutional mandate to maintain law and order. We know that that is a legitimate and legal position, and also that law and order is critical, central to the promotion and protection of human rights. Our point of departure is when the police begin to violate human rights against the
Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development has also expressed dismay over this situation. UPND Secretary General Stephen Katuka explains that in an ideal situation, police are not supposed to be at the court to conduct such kind of operations, but leave the judiciary to operate freely. Mr. Katuka notes that the police also tried to stop UPND President Hakainde Hichilema from entering the court premises to attend CHOMBA KAMBWILI'S court case, wondering why such behavior is being exhibited by police officers. Other organizations that have condemned this brutality include the Zambia National Women's Lobby, the Non-Governmental Gender Coordinating Council NGOCC. In other news, the opposition United Party for National Development I would say they are aware that the Electoral Commission of Zambia borrowed generators from the Malawi Electoral Commission to be used towards the 2021 general elections, saying that it is evident that the Commission has no resources to hold credible elections. UPND Mwinilunga, Member of Parliament, was speaking at a rally in Southern Province yesterday. Let's get the details in this report.
UPND Monze Central Member of Parliament Jack Mwimbu has charged that the Electoral Commission of Zambia is a danger to the governance of the country. Mr. Mwimbu's comment follows the insistence by the electoral body that it will manage to register 9 million voters in 30 days. He said this yesterday during a public rally held at Monze Town Ground to raise awareness on the need for people to turn up in numbers and register as voters. He wonders how the ECZ will manage to register more voters amid several obstacles. Mr. Mwimbu cited inadequate resources, the onset of the rain season, and existing COVID-19 guidelines as challenges that would negatively affect the voter registration process. He has since urged the Electoral Commission of Zambia to maintain the old register.
No doubt in my mind that the Electoral Commission of Zambia is a danger to the governance of this country. There is no way that they can tell the nation that they can register more than 9 million people in 30 days. You are aware that this is the rain season. Most of our people are peasant farmers and they struggle for them to survive. And they have no other opportunity to save and ensure that their children go to school apart from farming. As if that is not enough. You are aware there is COVID this year. They have been telling us, don't come in large numbers for you to do whatever is required. How do they expect us to do that?
The rally that was attended by various UPND members of parliament, among other senior party officials, brought out a number of cross-cutting issues, including emphasis on the need for people to turn up in numbers and register as voters once the process commences. PND Mwinulunga constituency member of parliament, Newton Siamakai, urged the citizens not to listen to some traditional leaders whom he alleged that are being paid huge sums of money by the Patriotic Front to campaign for them ahead of the polls. He further urged people of Southern Province to do the Dundumwezi formula on the Patriotic Front by giving them zero in next year's election.
They are giving a lot of money to the chiefs, but us, we are not able to take our children to school. Don't allow chiefs to influence you. You must look at how you are living. You must look at whether you are able to take your children to school. You must look at whether you are able to buy food.
UPND Lua constituency member of parliament, Stumbeko Musokotwane, said the party is still popular in Western Province.
Don't be cheated. UPND is very strong in Barosland.
Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet Main News. Just now we take a break. Still to come, however, is the Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company launches a new mobile application aimed at enhancing customer service provision. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
We all miss the days we would play outside, go to school, and visit fun places. But now, we all have to take care to prevent the coronavirus. Viruses are really tiny particles that we can't see with just our eyes, so we need to keep ourselves safe by practicing good hygiene, such as washing our hands with soap and clean water regularly. We can also use hand sanitizer to keep our hands clean. It's also important for us to keep our bodies and surroundings clean. We must also avoid handshakes, hugs, and standing close to other people in public places. This is called social distancing. The coronavirus has affected millions of people around the world, so we need to stay safe. In the meantime, we can keep ourselves busy by reading a book, watching TV, and doing some schoolwork. There's so much we can do indoors. Stay safe, stay home, and prevent COVID-19. We're all in this together.
This advert is sponsored by the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The Engineering Institute of Zambia has charged that both AKHATA Flyover Bridge and Society Park are not fit for use by members of the public. The AKHATA Flyover Bridge was once a hot topic of discussion, with the Minister of Local Government, Charles Banda, going all out defending the structure. EIZ President Ngandu has warned that the Institute will not tolerate shoddy works done by few engineers at the expense of damaging the image of the institution. Patrick Soko now reports.
The issue of the AKHATA Flyover Bridge, which was described as a death trap, has resurfaced, with the Engineering Institution of Zambia insisting that the facility is not fit for public use. The flyover bridge brought about dissenting views between the Minister of Local Government, Charles Banda, and his Permanent Secretary, Bishop Eddie Chomba. In December 2019, Bishop Chomba ordered the demolition of the AKHATA Flyover Bridge in Lusaka as it was a death trap and lacks the basic minimum standards of a bridge. But Local Government Minister Charles Banda disagreed.
I would like you to know that there has not been any engineering report suggesting that the bridge could be a death trap. I did have a meeting with my PS this morning to find out exactly what happened. That was his personal opinion, and that is how he looked at the issue himself. But you see, usually we have to act when we have got information from people who are technically competent to advise for or against. And now that there is no such kind of report from our engineers at local government or indeed at RDA, that statement should not really be taken as government position.
And in February this year, former EIZ President Eugene Hazele said the bridge, which was officially opened on December 3, 2019, was not a death trap and will be safer once the proposed safety enhancements by the Institute were put in place. Fast forward to today, the new EIZ President, Engineer Abel Ngandu, unreservedly said the bridge does not meet the technical requirement and vowed to take action against the engineers denting the image of the Institute.
That bridge, it is not something we are very proud of. And we are going to constitute a committee, by the way, to investigate that bridge. But just preliminary findings, I can tell you that bridge does not meet specifications of safety, of side distances. The roundabouts in front there and at the back, all those ones, they are not correctly positioned, and that bridge has to be redone.
And in another development, Engineer Ngandu also maintained that the Society Park building along Cairo Road remains a danger to the public.
That project now of Society House, it's no longer an AFTA issue. Because a lot of people go there, they do shopping, they enter that building. If it kills people, we cannot allow that. So as EIZ now, we're going to intervene. We are not going to rely on a consultant who has been hired by NAPSA. No. We want now to appoint our own consulting firm. As you know, we are the custodian of some of the best engineering professionals in the country.
He said they will appoint an independent consultant to inspect the building at a cost that will be bared by the National Pensions Scheme Authority, NAPSA. During the same briefing, the EIZ also pledged to ensure professionalism and accountability among its members by establishing an Ethics and Integrity Committee and revise the EIZ Act and realign its constitution in order to expand its mandate. Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News, in Lusaka.
The Agricultural, Technical and Professional Staff Union of Zambia, General Secretary Joe Kamutuma, has opposed the transfer of all camp officers in Kabwe to other districts, saying it is against the government policy to steer enhanced agricultural productivity. Mr. Kamutuma has appealed to Central Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Chomba and Kabwe District Commissioner Samson Lupupa to rescind their decision. Mr. Kamutuma is further disappointed that the Ministry of Agriculture Agriculture Permanent Secretary Songozwayo Ziambo was not consulted before the decision was taken. He feels the move will be a cost undertaking for the Ministry of Agriculture. Mr. Kamutuma tells Camnet TV News that the transfer of all detention officers in Kabwe to other districts is untimely, as it is coming at a time when the country is preparing for the 2020-2021 farming season. The union leader explains that the implementation of the Farmer Import Support Program in Kabwe district will negatively be affected, as it will take a long time before the new officers get to know the farmers.
The DC in Kabwe has written to transfer all the agricultural staff in the district, so that they go to other districts and they will not attract any conditions of service. How do you decide to transfer the entire district staff of extension officers to other areas? Look here, the timing is wrong. Even the reasoning that is there is not enough to convince us that the DC's decision was correct. One, the period we are in, we are supposed to prepare for the agricultural season. This FISIP program is hot now. These extension officers are the ones that know the farmers. And then when you transfer them to go to other ministries, to go to other districts and the provinces, that is a cost on the line ministry. And what is even sad, Mr. Soko, what is even sad is that even when the provincial administration through the PS Central Province and the DC Kabwe, they've done this unilaterally without consulting the line ministry, because it's a cost to the line ministry to move staff. And as a union, we will not accept that our staff should be moved without attracting conditions of service that go with transfers. Not only that, issues of productivity will be affected. Why not hold this issue? If they are grave, if there are issues that they think are very serious, let's wait until this season takes off. Later on, we can sit down and talk. You cannot transfer the entire district of staff in the field. What are you talking about? These are the people that know the farmers. Okay? Not only that, the ministry has to spend. You are indebting government, Bwana DC in Kabwe. You are indebting government.
The Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company has launched a mobile application aimed at improving service delivery by easing the mode of making payments and other queries. Lusaka Water Board Chairman Benny Muyobela says this initiative is part of the company's digital transformation. He has cited the change in issuing paper bills to electronic bills as some of the interventions the utility company is putting up in place to improve service delivery. Let's get the details in this report. The Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company is responding to the call for digitalization in the financial sector. Tuesday, the utility company launched a mobile application which is hoped will enhance service delivery and customer relations for the company. Lusaka Water Board Chairman Ben Muyobela says this innovation is part of the company's digital journey. Mr. Muyobela says in 2017, Lusaka Water moved from issuing paper bills to paperless bills, which he said was a step in the right direction. The company also partnered with other financial institutions to help it achieve its goal of easing the mode of payment for its clients.
The board of directors, we are particularly happy to see that the coming to fruition as it speaks to the strategic direction of the company in our efforts to improve service delivery and customer service. This mobile app will enable our customers, both prepaid and postpaid, to purchase water tokens and units and pay for the bills on their mobile devices.
And speaking at the same event, Airtel Zambia Director Airtel Money says his organization will support the water utility company achieve its goal and that of the nation through the 7th National Development Plan agenda of enhancing digital platforms through information communications technology.
We are here to witness that innovation that has come in through partnership method of local innovators and the IT department of Lusaka Water and Sewerage. So I think as Airtel, we've always partnered with Lusaka Water, and I'm proud to say that we are the biggest collector on the digital platforms for Lusaka Water, and we shall continue to support Lusaka Water and Sewerage as they embark on this digitization process. It's also part of the 7th National Development Plan that the government, through the leadership of the President, has embarked on as a nation to make sure that we deliver digitization to also make it financially inclusive for our population.
Meanwhile, United Bank for Africa Head of Banking Malumo Sianga says the partnership with Lusaka Water will help bridge the information and financial gaps.
Urge all of us and the customers that are not here to actually embrace this new positive technology. Additionally, this will also help in terms of financial inclusion. The government is consistently driving and making a call that financial inclusion is a way to go. And this initiative will also be in a way help government objective of achieving 80% of financial inclusion by the year 2020. We, as UBA, we've done some strategic partnerships in providing payment gateways with
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka. Stakeholders engaged by Diakonia on the second phase of the Strengthened Accountability Program has called for various spheres of society to voice out on accountability issues. One of the NGOs, Women for Change, is concerned that gender imbalance remains a challenge many organizations face in their daily duties, saying development should not be championed on a single gender basis. Meanwhile, Diakonia Zambia Country Programs Officer Maimbo Kalenge says the faith-based organization is happy with strides made by stakeholders on the Swedish Fund NGO in terms of building capacity in different areas of society. She says Diakonia works with 14 NGOs in various parts of the country. Details in this report. A Swedish faith-based organization that is funding 14 non-governmental organizations implementing the Strengthened Accountability Program has continued engaging stakeholders on the need to enhance the capacity of communities to hold duty bearers accountable. Diakonia Zambia Country Programs Officer Maimbo Kalenge says the NGO decided to engage communities because of the zeal they have in spearheading accountability issues while using locally available resources to empower themselves.
The women groups that are facilitated by Women for Change have taken the intervention to another level. Their focus is gender. So they've mobilized the groups, and the groups are now involved in livelihood activities. And one interesting thing is how they are doing value addition to some of the locally grown crops to make them into products that they're able to sell. Growing yams, which are drought resistant, and we've seen that in the past year Southern Province was badly hit with drought. So I think the project is doing well because an initiative that is coming from a smaller group has scaled up benefits to the entire community.
And one of the NGOs on the program, Youth Alliance for Development, says Diakonia has helped many youths engage duty bearers accountable on the issues that affect their plight in Northwestern Province. Alliance Executive Director Ziwase Mulenga says, for example, youths were able to lobby for land from Shindano District Council as a way of showing how their program by Diakonia has shaped their thinking.
There have been engagement meetings, which we are calling interfaith meetings, where the youths have been able to sit with the duty bearers to discuss the various issues which affect them. No one is going to speak on their behalf, but if it is coming from a fellow youth itself, from the fellow youth themselves, then we're going to see real meaningful positive change.
And another NGO, Women for Change, has called for equal representation of all genders in society to break the existing gap in decision-making. Shadrach Chembe is Women for Change Program's Monitoring and Evaluation Manager. He says sustainable development cannot be realized if men are the only ones allowed to dominate positions of decision-making.
We are saying women and men should work together to find solutions to the problems, because the problems in society affect women, they affect men, they affect boys and girls. So when it comes to making decisions about how to solve them, why should you leave one group behind? So this is a capacity building we're talking about for organizations, for traditional leadership, for civic leaders, for community members, so that together, when we understand, then we can work together to make sure this is, being done. It is on the agenda of the nation.
Despite the effects presented by the coronavirus, the Strengthened Accountability Program continues to be implemented in 3 provinces of the country, with Kalomo, Mushindamo, Mansa, and Zimba among some targeted areas, while life-changing results are manifesting. Sharon Kalimbola reporting. The Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Kennedy Malama says government will continue to work closely with the education sector to ensure that learners are protected at all costs against the COVID-19. Updating the nation on the status of the COVID-19 in Zambia and globally, Dr. Malama says the government is committed to ensure that the population of learners in the country are protected and cared for as they execute their daily academic lessons. He adds that government, through the multi-sectoral approach led by the Ministry of Education and Health, have carefully taken consideration and benefits of learners, considering the limited virtue of learning in the country. Meanwhile, Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded 85 new COVID-19 cases out of 2,500 tests conducted and 7 new recoveries.
A total of 85 new cases of COVID-19 have been recorded out of a total of 2,050 tests which we conducted. These cases, the 85, were detected in Lusaka, 48, Copperbelt, 18, Northern Province, 11, Muchinga, 4, Northwestern, 4, and these were through the various forms of screening and testing we do. Among our patients in isolation facilities in Lusaka are some who are quite young people, adolescents. We have 19-year-old, 21-year-old. Again, amplifying the importance of all of us not to trivialize COVID-19, that it doesn't affect young people, because young people can also get the severe form of COVID-19, looking at the situation we have in our country at the moment. As a country, we've discharged 7 of our people from our various isolation points. Remember, we are doing a community model. Some self-isolate at home, some will keep them in healthcare facilities depending on the situation. Therefore, the cumulative number of cases now for Zambia is standing at 15,982, including the 346 deaths we've seen, and a total of 15,038 recoveries.
This is Camnet News. We take another breather, but still to come is international and sports news. Stay with us.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customer service at lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
I have used Oracle Pure Glycerin for 2 years now. It has really worked for me. It has cleared all the black spots on my face. It has restored my skin beauty. It also smoothens the skin. Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for perfect skin. If it's not Oracle Glycerin, then it's not pure glycerin.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, the Human Rights Watch has released a video it says shows fighters from the Congolese armed group beating civilians and getting support from the military. Chimere Gaidon is the leader of the group, the NDCR, which is accused of human rights abuses. Prosecutors in the Democratic Republic of Congo have issued a warrant for Gaidon's arrest, but he remains at large. In other news, beyond borders, Black Lives Matter protests and the accompanying violence and property damage could affect United States suburb voters in the upcoming elections. They were key to Donald Trump's victory in 2016, helping him take key swing states like Minnesota and Wisconsin. Al Jazeera has more on these stories.
Chimere Gaidon is wanted by prosecutors in the Democratic Republic of Congo for insurrection, recruiting child soldiers, and the crime against humanity of rape. He leads an armed group called NDCR. Its fighters are notorious for torturing and executing civilians. They controlled a larger area than any other militia in eastern Congo until the group split 3 months ago. Some of the fighters surrendered to the government. Gaidon remains at large in spite of a warrant for his arrest, and it's widely believed that a lot of his weapons, ammunition and uniforms have come from government army officers who supported him to fight other armed groups. Gaidon denies it and denies committing rights abuses.
The NDCR does not have any collaboration with the Congolese army. When we're in confrontation with other armed groups, we find heavy weapons, ammunition and Congolese military uniforms.
International rights group Human Rights Watch has released videos that it says show otherwise. They were filmed secretly by local residents. This one appears to show Gaidon's fighters collecting illegal taxes. It shows people who can't pay being beaten. Punishments are brutal for anyone who doesn't comply. One of the fighters says, and one of the armed group's commanders, and a Congolese government soldier, but some things have recently changed. Gaidon's deputies turned against him. Congo's army has been fighting him since.
Those who say there may be a certain collaboration between the army and Gaidon should bring evidence. We are actually in military operations against Gaidon. Collaboration would be against the nature of our mission, which is to track down all armed groups.
People in eastern Congo have suffered in brutal conflicts for more than 20 years. Human Rights Watch says Gaidon and army officers who supported him must be brought to justice.
The suburbs, where rolling lawns lead to expansive homes, where scenic views meet shops, quaint and common. Close to culture, far enough from squalor. Idyllic havens of safety and middle-income splendor. But don't let the leafy tranquility fool you. Divisions here run deep. These are the battlegrounds where the U.S. election will be decided. In suburban Minnesota, a short commute from Minneapolis, George Floyd's death under a police officer's knee led to raucous protests that divided a nation. and many households.
It'd be Biden. Yeah.
And probably for me it would be Trump. I like the idea of a republic and not socialism, and that seems to be the direction of the Democrats.
I think character is an important quality, and I think also we need someone who can unify and not divide.
It's why President Donald Trump seeks to instill fear into the suburban heart.
If you elected this guy, the suburbs would be overwhelmed with violence and crime.
And why Joe Biden is striking back.
How many suburbs will be burned in wildfires? How many suburban neighborhoods will have been flooded out? How many suburbs will have been blown away in superstorms?
Here, one voter's crisis of law and order is another's calamity of social injustice.
I have 100% support for the protesters, and I've been doing my best to stay as active and be as involved as I can with it.
When Trump won the suburbs in 2016, he won the election. The math of Midwestern battleground states is pretty simple. The cities lean heavily toward Democrats, the rural areas lean heavily toward Republicans. Most of these states will be decided in the suburbs, the battlegrounds within the battleground states. In Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, Trump won the suburbs and narrowly won those states. He won the suburbs here outside Minneapolis, too, and narrowly lost the state. But there are signs of trouble for Trump here.
White women, for instance, particularly college-educated women, growing really disenchanted with him in many ways. So a lot of them are found in the suburbs. So yes, overall, they are moving away at least somewhat.
Here in the land of 10,000 lakes, Trump is now lagging Biden in the polls. But Trump supporters note he also lagged Hillary Clinton in Minnesota in 2016, before nearly pulling off an upset victory. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Wayzata, Minnesota.
Well, that's it in international news. We now look at sports news. In sports news, the Football Association of Zambia FAZ, in conjunction with Atlas Mara Bank, held a launch for the Zambian League season opener, the Samuel Zoom Nglovu Charity Shield. Atlas Mara has come on board as the sponsors of this year's Charity Shield and has offered their Tenga mobile banking platform for people to donate towards the charity. Atlas Mara Executive Director James Coney said the bank was happy to be involved with such a noble cause. Vice President Andrew Kamanga also stressed that the importance of the Charity Shield and the partnership with Atlas Mara. This year's Charity Shield will see Super League champions Nkana squaring off with Eden University, FAZ National Division 1 winner Indeni on the 24th of October 2020. The match will take place in Kitwe at Arthur Davis Stadium, the home of Power Dynamos, and all proceeds from the match will be donated to St. Lawrence Home of Hope. Video footage is courtesy of the Football Association of Zambia.
This year's event is particularly special as it has brought on board a new corporate partner in Atlas Mara. We are excited that Atlas Mara has come on board to sponsor this year's Charity Shield. This speaks to our executives' open door policy to various partners who are interested in contributing to the development of the game. We are happy that this event will have a combination of many corporate bodies that represent our sponsored leagues. Atlas Mara has responded to our call to come on board and be part of the football revolution currently underway. This year's event brings together two sides that have won their respective leagues, with 13-time champion Nkana representing the MTN Super League, while Indeni is representing the Eden University National Division 1 League after earning promotion to the MTN League. Regrettably, we still have to hold this fixture behind closed doors as we are yet to be given permission to allow soccer fans in view of the ongoing COVID-19 challenges.
The event, the monies that will be raised, will be donated to the charity, which is called St. Lawrence Home of Hope, which is a charity that is looking after young boys between the age of 6 and 18. There are more than 100 of them. Total, there are about 110 actually. 33 are in the home, 77 are in schools. I'm told there's even one person who's in university. So it is a noble cause that we are supporting. In doing so, as Atlas Mara, we have partnered with FAS to be able to raise funds, not just through the tournament, but as Atlas Mara will also be encouraging, we're inviting the members of the public to take part in making donations towards this charity.
Well, that's where we wrap it up for our news this evening. Let's just look at the headlines once again. Stakeholders condemn the brutal arrest of Dr. KAMBWILI'S family members. 81-year-old man of Lusaka seeks government's intervention for survival. And Bishop Eddie CHOMBA vindicated over ALICK flyover bridge. In international news, rights group in DRC says militia is working with army to perpetuate violence. In sports news, Charity Shield set for Arthur Defe Stadium this Saturday. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13, and it reads, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can enjoy it." Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good night.